Hey, Leatherbacks and Royals. So I wanted to come on here because I really hope that you guys listened to the assignment where it was talking about go out and, talk to a stranger, go say hi, or even the one that states about do something out of the norm, out of, the box, something that you would normally never ever do that would be vulnerable and something different. And so I did that tonight, and I'm super excited because it is still my birthday weekend. My birthday was on Wednesday, 39. I love it. But this was genuinely like the most peaceful, smooth, like when God tells you to go with the flow, like go with the flow because everything flows. Okay, bars. But no, seriously, listen. So yesterday, if you saw their video again of one of my shorts, I talk about I'm bored. I was like, I'm so fucking bored, which I did. But what I ended up doing on my community post, I posted the suggested movie that I ended up watching and what ended up happening that night. And I chose to have a date with myself. So what I did was is instead of being in the house, because like I said, the energy be off and the sodas and they see on. So I just come in my car and I sit in my car and I watched a movie on my laptop and I drank some wine and I smoked a blunt and I was having a ball. You understand me? And I promised myself, and I said all to say that I promised myself that while I'm doing this, I will make sure I go out on Saturday to actually walk the talk. You understand me? Like, I can't sit here and advise you guys to do stuff and I'm not taking heed to it. I'm not perfect. I have some stuff that I need to, work on. We're going to work on this together. Team effort. You understand me? So I finally got the courage because that was one of the things I said in one of the videos is I have never just gone out and just socialized with strangers or people that I don't know by myself. Usually I'm always like with someone or in a relationship or whatever the case may be. I've never just like went to a random place and just socialized. So I did that tonight and I loved it. Yeah, something happened and I noticed that this might be a situation that has to go in the treasure chest because my left ear was ringing like a siren just went off after a video that I shared with someone went off, and it was like I can't even do it. It was just a siren in my left ear. But to say all that to say, I really hope you guys do that. Just start interacting with people you don't know because your circle doesn't have to be small. I know that you see those motivational videos that are like friends, fuck friends. If they ain't talking about money, fuck them. And it's crazy I say that because one of the people I was chilling with tonight, he's a business owner. That's exactly what the fuck he said. But I feel because again, if you ever wherever I go, it's not me. It's always some fucking shenanigans. You feel me? Like, let me tell you the shenanigans that happened tonight. What also been great was the conversation. All the conversations that I had chilling tonight was like, you can't make this shit up. But I loved it because it demonstrated how free those individuals felt to express how they were feeling. One girl, we talked for a minute, for a while, and she just even said it. She was like, I need to pay you. Like, how much do I need to pay you for this session? I'm like, no, you good. Like, that's my purpose. That goes back to what I said, going with the flow. God will put you where you need to be, but you also need to remember how to live. It's a balance. So I was there and everything she was talking about, I could relate to help and assist. She said the most thing that was a test. You understand me? Like God tested me. You feel me? She said at this time we outside the shop. And it's like a late night thing. We said we outside the shop, and we sitting on the patio type shit. And so she randomly, I don't even know how we got on. She was like, I know I have issues, but why is it so bad that I can't masturbate outside? Like, what's wrong with that? So I'm sitting here like, are you fucking serious? Mind you, bro, I'm in the city, so like it's nice out. People out walking past us. You feel me? Like, And so this how I knew it was because my brain, it didn't respond to her, but it went into, you have to respond accordingly, Chris. Like, these some new folks, they don't know you. This is, first impression is everything. Is this going to be a judgment, or you test it? What is it? So I went through all these cycles, and just short version is that was a test to see whether or not I would judge a person based off what they said, and how would I respond. Would it be in a rude way of dismissing them? Because as we see it in society brings it, talking about sex or just masturbation doesn't make people cringe. It makes them very uncomfortable. And we dig deep into saying that those who cannot have those public conversations, as they deem as inappropriate, is they would say, oh, that person's not comfortable with their sexuality. And this is very true, because the person who I'm having a conversation with, this individual sexuality is a transsexual. You understand me? So to say that and have that conversation with me, I love it, because I do attract it. Like, for me, that was a reminder. God was reminding me, like, Chris, you've been through some shit lately, but you're getting back on track. You're getting back to your mission. You remember what we did. I show up for all lost, the sinners, the ones in the churches, the black sheep, the felons, the murderers. Like, that's who I show up for. Again, when you show up for your purpose, you don't get to ask for it. You don't get to pick it. You feel me? You need to accept it, and you present it in the godly way that God wants you to do so. Ooh, started preaching. That was a mouthful. I don't know where that's coming from, but this is what God wants me to do. I'm genuinely sitting here just expressing about my day, and back on track with the statement. So how I responded was, she was like, I'm gonna say it again, because I don't know if people skip through or whatever, but we sitting there talking, and she's just like, I don't understand what's wrong with people. Like, what is wrong with masturbating in public? Like, I feel good. Like, I like doing it. I said, baby. I said, wait a minute. And I'm saying it just the same way I said it to her. I said, baby, you can't do that. I said, oh, that's how we got to. I said, that's a whole lot of charges. That's what it was. We were talking about her ass, because she had just got out of jail like 4 days prior or some shit for stealing. So we were talking about all this shit that she be doing illegally and shit, right? And so long story short, I told her, I said, babe, you can't do that. I said, that's no, like, no, I get it. Let me clarify. I said, babe, I understand if you're sitting in the grass, you're playing with yourself, and, you're releasing, whatever the case may be. I get why that would feel good. Mind you, side note, thinking of a different perspective of how a person is thinking is a very strong mental, that takes a lot of mental strength and emotional intelligence, because in a mental perspective of how I took it from her, I don't know if I'm saying that right, or explaining it, but this was a person that didn't see the right and wrong of me wanting to explore my body is anyone's concern. Now, how anyone else may see it, they, of course, I can't say of course, but it's just, I get it. If you get it, you get it. This is for those who are open-minded, and this does require you not to judge a person, their sexuality, what they do, how they feel. But yes, we know in society, we don't all want to walk by and see somebody masturbate. Okay, let me just put that out there. I feel the need to fucking say that, because again, when she said it, my mind was like, this shit. I don't even know if anybody stopped and looked, because I told you there's people walking past, and I'm just like, no drinks were involved. Please understand that. You feel me? So it's crazy. I did the thing that I loved the most, and alcohol was nowhere inside. We did not have any alcohol. I loved it. So anyway, moving forward, I told her, I said, baby, we can't do that. And the perspective is someone who just loved themselves. So I gave her a post, and I said, I know that you love it. I get it. The air blowing through you. You're releasing. You feel free. You feel like you flowing. You know me? But on the contrary, baby, you can't do that, because that's just a charge. And so I'm going to end on that story part. There was a lot that happened tonight. Nonetheless, I loved it. Nothing was bad about it. Even with the statement, for me, it was like, bitch, I'm home. Like, I loved it. I love being around people that love themselves. Like, not even just love them. Yeah, fuck that. They love themselves. You feel me? It was lit. Like, I loved it. All the shit that went on from a fake ass promoter that was pissing off, an associate. He was telling me about an event that was supposed to, that shit pissed him off. Like, for real. That's why I came back. That's really the testimony of it all. This person I was originally going to say, I'm not going to talk too much into this situation, but when I showed up, today I was spending time with my kids and we were doing like haircuts and shit. And I went by his shop and I said, hey, I told him about the experiment or whatever. He's one of the advisors. And I felt the energy and I read it and I said it to him. I said, I feel it. Something's going on and you're trying to stay busy. Fast forward through all that shit, we ended up revisiting that moment. I came in there and I said that to him. I said, that's exactly what you were doing. You were literally waiting for your prey. You were a lion when I walked in. And he just looked at me, just smirked like a joker smile, like, you already know. Because there was a situation where somebody was fucking with his business, like his money at the time, like for business. He runs a business. And so I told him, and this is how it went. That's why I love the fact that my night turned out the way it did, because I listened to my intuition. My intuition when I walked in there was I noticed someone that I'm trying to build a foundation with, as far as like partnership, not even just a friendship, wherever it goes. If it's partnership, okay, cool. If it's, associating with a brand or whatever, however, whatever, you feel me? Like counseling, whatever. Just generally getting to know this person. And when I walked in, like you could feel it and you could see it. And I was like, yeah. I told him, I said, let me go do what I got to do, and I'm gonna come right back because I see it in you. If I don't come back and some shit happens, you're gonna go left field. Now, this situation that I had with this person, I have had with many others. In fact, some of you all are listening and have watched me many times before, where I have come to y'all and I recognize some shit will pop off if you don't have someone that is a sounding mind. I have the ability to have people like focus in amongst chaos. It's like the storm is happening around us and I can get a person to zone in. So at this time, this person, I felt in my soul that it was like, yeah, God was like, go do that. So I did that. And even while he gave me the confirmation throughout the night that is exactly what I was supposed to do, because even then he told me about how motherfuckers would just use them or just come over and do certain shit, and I showed up with gifts, you feel me? And he was just like, bro, like I can count on one hand how many motherfuckers showed up with their own shit, you feel me? And just blessed me. No, they come over and they leeching because they know this is what I do on a regular, so they show up on that time. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, I feel you. But that's like, for me, where I come from, because the streets raised me, like that's like the law. Like reciprocating any form of partnership should be automatic. It's a level of respect. If you don't do that, you don't respect it, and you ain't shit. You just out here trying to get it. And that tells us how to deal with you. Like, I don't know. To us, that was common sense. And when I said that, he yelled at me in the back. He said, Christina, that ain't common for everybody. I said, bro, but that is common sense. Like, how the fuck you gonna show? But nigga ain't had to do X, Y, and Z. But then when you come around, you ain't got nothing to show, but you still got your hand out. Like, where they do that at? And it's just, I don't know. Okay, sidetrack. Get it all the way off track. I love tonight. I love the conversations we have. It was so dope. It was no chaos. It's very peaceful vibes. A lot of customers came through. I love the interaction outside the front. People playing games. It was nice. It was lovely. So yeah, I really hope you guys are taking heed with taking leap of faith of just doing things out of norm. Like I said, in partnerships, it's building that bond and genuinely hearing the person you're trying to, do business with or create something with. If it's in relationships, it's genuinely showing up for yourself to say, hey, I like you and I want you to see you like me, I got tongue tied. Let me stop. I'm getting hyped. So I'm going to leave it there. I love you guys. I, again, just want to jump in there and hope you guys are having an amazing weekend. It's lovely. You guys are amazing. Bye. Mwah.